What's going on, everybody? Welcome to WWE Aftershock. I don't know what week it is because we're so off track with how we're doing everything. Um, but whatever is in the title is whatever week it is. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with.
Chris,
What's going on, Chris? How you doing today? I know I haven't asked you that in a while, so I gotta make sure you gotta make sure you're doing good.
doing great.
You're doing fantastic. Like couldn't be better.
Yeah,
All right, you ready to talk some good old fashioned WWE product today?
no.
Oh, okay. Then I'll wait till you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. You were gonna sit here a while too, so good thing you got it ready. Um, but yeah, we have some great topics to discuss. Cause last week we played catch up. We didn't do a show for a couple weeks, so this week we're kind of back to our normal groove. Obviously, we're not completely back there yet because obviously we're not doing like an extra or anything like that, and we have enough here we can talk about. But yeah, we're gonna just start reviewing these shows. We're gonna start with Level Up from last week because I don't know why, honestly. I'm including it. There's probably no reason to, but I'm just gonna.
And now, WWE presents NXT Vengeance Day.
On commentary was Vic Joseph, and replacing Booker T for the night was Wade Barrett. Booker T couldn't be there. He says he's got some medical issue or something like that. So he's not going to be there. He says he may not be there for a few weeks, though. I don't think it was just this show he's going to miss. I think he said he's going to miss a few episodes, which honestly sucks because they were in Texas, too. He would have gotten a great pop when he came out because he's from Texas and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That. So, yeah, it sucks that he couldn't be there. It was nice to have Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett back together for one night because obviously during like the Capitol Wrestling Center days and everything like that of the NXT era, they were together, pretty much until the end of the 2.0 era, right? Or did he make it? Was he on any of the episodes of this era, like the black and white, not the black and white, the white and yellow era or whatever it is? I don't think he's been on any of those. I know he was on the. I don't think so.
Believe so.
So it was kind of nice to see them back together again. They had great chemistry. I kind of would like this to stay the commentary team of NXT, but I don't think Wade Barrett could do both NXT and SmackDown since he has to travel to SmackDown and everything like that. So, but yeah, for one night only, it was awesome to hear them back together on commentary. They had really good time. And there was a funny line that Wade Barrett made, too. I don't know if you saw the Instagram post, too. He thought he was actually going to be commentating with Booker T. And he was all disappointed that he was, like, back with Vic Joseph. And they were just, like, roasting each other. It was really funny. What'd you think of this, though? I thought this was awesome to hear them back together on commentary.
It was awesome. I loved it. It was great.
And yeah, it opened up with a first match of the night. It was the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was well, we had the code open first. I forgot to mention that. You just kind of broke down the matches. It was a really good code open. And then we had the opening of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic finals. It was Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes versus the Wolf Dogs. I know that's not officially their name, but I'm gonna pretty much call them that until they get a new name or until Corbin completely just shuts that down. Yeah, this was very good right here. Very good opener. Mello and Hayes get the advantage throughout much of it. At one point, they fight off Corbin and Breakker. Eventually, Breakker and Corbin dominate Carmelo Hayes. They get the heat on him for a while. One point, the ropes were not these guys' friends in this match because one point, Braun Breakker tries to bounce off the rope into a clothesline, and he caught his neck on the ropes, and he did a clothesline, and you could tell they kind of got rattled from this because there's at one point where Breakker goes for a pin and he stops covering. Carmelo Hayes doesn't kick out. I think this rattled Braun Breakker a little bit, so he was kind of trying to stall to kind of get his whereabouts about him and everything like that.
He almost fucking broke his neck on that fucking rope.
Yeah, so I think you could tell this routed him a little bit. And then at one point when Carmelo Hayes does a springboard, he trips on the rope and he doesn't get all of the moonsault and everything like that. So kind of rough nights for these guys when it came to ropes. At one point, Wade Barrett had to call it out, say, "Are these ropes safety?" Wade Barrett roasted the fucking people who ever set the ropes up. That's how bad it was. But yeah, then eventually Trick Williams gets the hot tag. He hits a really good dive on everybody. He hits a really good double stomp. Everybody just starts hitting moves on each other at one point. At one point, I think Corbin was meant to hit a deep six on Hayes, but he didn't exactly get the landing of it right. But it looked like it was meant to be a deep six, but it was instead of a tilt-a-whirl, because then he does a deep six to Trick Williams, would look really good. Braun Breaker hits a really good dive on the outside, and then Carmelo Hayes does the same thing. And then eventually, the finish comes, and Braun Breaker hits a spear, and he's about to hit it on Trick Williams, but instead Carmelo Hayes takes the bullet for him, and he's legal, and Braun Breaker pins Carmelo Hayes, and Corbin and Breaker win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They become the new number one contenders, and obviously the big storyline is that Carmelo Hayes did this because obviously Trick Williams had to wrestle later in the show, and Carmelo Hayes basically wanted to take a bullet so that way Trick Williams would be less hurt going into the main event later in the night. But yeah, I thought this was a very good match here. I give it 3 3/4 stars. It took a little bit for this match to get going, obviously with the missteps, and then once they kind of got over that, I thought they were pretty. I thought that they finally hit their stride and everything like that. I thought the right team went over. I think it made sense to give the win to Corbin and Breaker. Because obviously this is a little bit of a callback, if you remember, to like over a little less than a decade ago when they first did this tournament. If you remember, Corbin teamed up with Rhino, who's got like the same moveset and everything like that as Braun Breaker. So this is kind of cool that, almost a decade later, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, who's got like the same moveset and everything, like won the tournament now. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, I imagine they're going to probably challenge for the tag titles. Probably at Roadblock, they'll probably face the family, and that'll probably be Braun Breaker's send-off off NXT, because obviously I think it's clear he's going to the main roster soon. But they could do something different, though. An idea I recommend is, they've done stuff with the Dusty Tag before, if you remember, where they don't necessarily have to challenge for the NXT tag belts. They could challenge for the Unified tag belts at WrestleMania or something. They could say, hey, we're going to challenge for the Unified tag team titles. I don't think they will do that because that will mess up, what they kind of have going on with the Judgment Day storylines on Raw at the moment. But that's always an idea, especially too because Braun Breaker had a lot of interactions with the Judgment Day and everything like that, in the Royal Rumble match. So I think it'd make a lot of sense, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But yeah, I thought this match was very good. I give it 3 3/4 stars overall. What did you think of this match?
I gave it 3 3. I gave it 3 3/4 too. I thought it was a really good match. Once it got going, like you said, like the Braun Breaker, I think it rattled Braun a little bit.
Yeah.
Him like messing up because he was going so fucking fast on those ropes, and then he hit the other side of the ropes, and his fucking head just slipped. That could have been fucking bad.
Yeah.
He's very lucky that wasn't bad. But yeah, and after that, it kind of got a little sloppy for a little bit. Because I think they were both a little bit rattled too. But as the match progressed from that point, it started to get a lot better. So, yeah, I thought the match was good. It just, that point just really kind of put everything to like a slog for a little bit. But I thought the match was still very good.
I will say too, the crowd for this show wasn't as into it as I was kind of hoping for. They kind of seemed like there were points where they were very quiet, like they didn't get into this Trick as they typically would and everything like that. Obviously, you can kind of tell this happens because obviously they're not in Full Sail, so it's more of a crowd and everything like that. But Trick was kind of the most surprising that he still got a big reaction, but you didn't get as much of a reaction as you would hope for. Like he got a bigger reaction on SmackDown when it was in Tampa when he was on it and stuff. So like I feel like the crowd wasn't as into the show as I was hoping for. So I think that affected this match also too. But then we had the next match. It was a no DQ match. It was Dijak versus Joe Gacy. This was awesome. Immediately, Dijak pulls out a nightstick, and Gacy pulls out, I think it was meant to be a baton, and they just start kind of wearing each other out. They brawl around. Eventually, Gacy pulls out a couple of kendo sticks, and then he pulls out like a few chairs and trash cans and a table. He's just annihilating Dijak at one point. He throws him into the steps. He hits a cannonball while he's in the steps. and then he pulls out action figures and like cars and things like that, like toy cars from like a crate, and he dumps them onto the table, which kind of gets used later on. But Dijak doesn't really allow him to do anything with this. He has a spinning big boot on him. He throws him into the post. He puts a trash can on his head, and he just starts stomping away at him with the trash can. He hits him with the steel chair while he's trapped in the trash can, but Gacy kicks out. Then eventually Gacy destroys him with a few kendo sticks. He breaks a kendo stick at one point over Dijak, and then at one point Dijak's on the apron, and Gacy knocks him off, and he goes right through the table with all the action figures there and everything like that. And then he beats him up with a chain. Gacy hits a really good suicide dive through the ropes. And then at one point, Gacy, there was duct tape at this point. He wraps duct tape around the eyes of Dijak, and he just beats him up with the kendo sticks while he's got his eyes duct tape, which was awesome. And Dijak hits the feast your eyes, but he can't really capitalize to make the cover because he can't see, so he has to like take the duct tape off his eyes. And by the time he does all that, Gacy's like propped up in the corner, hanging upside down, and he obliterates Dijak. He hits a DDT onto the chair, but Dijak kicks out. Then eventually, when Gacy goes for the stand-up clothesline, Dijak hits him in the ribs with a lead pipe, not the pipe, the nightstick. And then he hits Feast Your Eyes on him, and that finally puts away Gacy. I thought this match was great. It was a great no disqualification match. I give it 4 stars. It was very entertaining. I didn't really mind Dijak winning too much because I think Dijak needed the win more because he's been taking a lot of big losses lately. And I feel like this feud's going to continue, so I don't really think it's going to affect both of their careers and everything like that. So I was okay with Dijak winning. Overall, what'd you think of this match and just the result and everything like that?
I really did. I love this match. Joe Gacy looked great. He really did. Dijak looked awesome in this match too. The fucking duct tape spot was brutal.
Yeah.
Watching Dijak pull the duct tape off his fucking face, and I'm like, I know that fucking pain. Like that fucking hurts. You can't. That's like that was painful to watch. But yeah, like either one of these guys could have won. But I think in terms of like who needed the win more, 100% Dijak needed that win more. And I'm happy he won. It's a great win for him. Hard fought win, great win. But yeah, I give it 3 stars.
Here you go. Then we had the Chase U calendar reveal. Not really though. They didn't barely show the calendar. They just
didn't show anything.
All the people that were like,
here's the calendar, or not, I guess.
All the people that were there, they just did like a sign-in for it and everything like that. And all the people that were there were like, plants. They weren't really fans and everything like that. They talked about how great the calendar sounded and how it's gonna save Chase U and everything like that. The segment wasn't good. And you know me, I hate segments that belong on TV on the freaking PLEs. This did not need to be on the PLE. The big thing was they were supposed to do a calendar reveal, and they showed like 2 things, and that was it. Like, I don't understand what they're doing here. Like, this just ruins Chase U even more than it already does. Oh, by the way, last year Chase U really over. I know technically Chase U was on the show, but let's be real. Chase U really was on the show. No Andre Chase, no Drew Huxton. They weren't even at this show. Terrible. Just awful.
Not even there.
Yeah. What do you think of this? This was an awful segment.
Yeah. It wasn't very good.
And again, you know me, you could have put this on NXT either this week or last week. This did not need to be on the PLE. This was not good. More not good. We had Out the Mud with Scripps versus The Family. This was an NXT match on a PLE. This didn't need to be on the show. I didn't care about it. It was on my phone most of the time. The woman looked really bad out there. And also it sorted Out the Mud. This was just a waste of time. Very predictable. It was obvious The Family were going to win. I just didn't care. They did win. And this is a 2-star match. It was just very bland.
Yeah, 2 stars. Yeah, just extremely bland.
And then more stuff that they need to be on the show. Yeah, Kiana James and Izzy Dame do a promo on talking about how they work, smarter versus harder. That's why they've been on Level Up recently. They don't want to wait on the real shows. And then they talk about how they want to take out all of the NXT women. And they mention Kalani Jordan, how she's having this breakout performance and everything like that. And they want to shut that down. The same Kalani Jordan that hasn't been on the show in like a month. Yeah, she's having a real breakout performance and hasn't been on a show in a month. This was not good. This did not need to be on the show. It's a segment that could have been on NXT. I hate promo segments, except on rare occasions, on the PLEs. It was a waste of time. What do you think of this?
Waste of time. No one cared. I don't care. Yeah, don't care.
Then we had we had Trick Mello game backstage. This was awesome. Carmelo Hayes tells Trick Williams the reason that he took the bullet for him is because he wanted to preserve Trick Mello's energy. And then Trick Mello says he's ready for his NXT title match. Hayes says, I know you want to do this on your own, but Williams says, no, I want you out there to celebrate with me, and they leave together. This was fine to be on the show because it furthered stuff, and they're just awesome. So, this was totally okay to be on the show. That's just how you do it. You don't freaking show shit that's not going to matter to the show. This was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I liked it a lot. I loved it a lot.
And then we had NXT Stand and Deliver ad. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to air at 11:30 p.m. though. That's early.
A little sad.
Why sad?
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm looking.
A little sad.
Why are you sad?
Stand and deliver, baby.
Oh, yeah.
A little sad.
Then we had something that should have been good, but wasn't. But then Shawn Michaels did. It was the NXT Women's Championship match.
He certainly Shawn Michaels did for certain.
It was Lyra Valkyria defending the belt against Roxanne Perez. I was really looking forward to this match. I was very excited about it. Thought this easily, in the black and gold era, the main roster Triple H era, would have stolen the show. It'd be the best match on the whole show. Then Shawn Michaels happened. It was going along relatively.
And Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and then it was going along relatively fine. They hadn't really reached the stride yet, but they were building to a nice thing. Then all of a sudden, Roxanne Perez hits the pop rocks kind of early in the match. I was like, okay, that's kind of early. And then all of a sudden, Lola Vice's music hits, and she comes out with the NXT breakout tournament contract to cash it in. Let's also point this out. This was not wise because Roxanne Perez was still she hadn't taken any damage. She was still on her feet. By the way, Roxanne Perez, for the time it took Lola Vice to get down to the ring and cash her contract in, could have just pinned Lyra Valkyria and won the championship by that point. It's just okay.
Absolutely.
Not Battleground 2017 levels of stupidity, where people could have been winning matches long before. But, there was enough time. There was enough. But why did you come out with another referee? There was already a referee down there. You didn't see Seth Rollins going down to WrestleMania 31 with another referee who was cashing his card. Because that referee just fucked off. It's what the hell is going on there? I don't know.
He's fuck it. I don't care anymore.
And then, she cashed the contract in. But, no, this was not wise because Roxanne Perez doesn't pretty much kicks Lola Vice's ass for a while, and the match goes on. I just kind of lost all interest at this point because it's just okay, they just ruined this. This is stupid. It's they just basically do triple threat stuff and everything like that. Just okay, yeah, you kind of lost me at this point. And then Tatum Paxley comes out. I think at this point she had tried to prevent the cash in, and then it didn't work. And then the match continues. Roxanne Perez hits pop rocks on Lyra Valkyria, and then Tatum Paxley breaks it up and throws her to the outside, and then Lyra hits the Michinoku driver on Lola Vice for the win and retains the belt. This match was an overbooked mess. A lot of things didn't make sense about it. Lola Vice cashing a contract in when there was no need. Even Wade Barrett calls it out on commentary, by the way. He's like, I don't understand why Lola Vice cashed in a contract why didn't she just wait till both competitors were laid out and everything like that? And then he had to like kind of, realize, okay, I have to make this make sense. I guess I'm not going to doubt Lola Vice. She might have a plan, but even Wade Barrett calls out the stupidity of this on commentary. And this was just an overbooked mess. And you have to understand what they're doing. They're clearly doing this because this is going to be fuel to the fire of Roxanne Perez's heel turn even more. That doesn't even need to happen. It does need to happen because they lost Cora Jade and now they've lost Tiffany Stratton. But it shouldn't happen. This was just terrible. This was bad. Shawn Michaels overbooked this match to all different levels, and this was awful. This was I gave this like 2.5 stars originally, but this is like a 1 star. This was an overbooked mess that didn't need to be an overbooked mess. It was terrible. What do you think of this?
I give it like maybe 2, 1.5, 1.5. First of all, not only did Lola Vice cash in her title shot, and when she came out, I was like, did she realize this makes it a triple threat, which makes her odds of winning the title go down?
It's not like at WrestleMania where both Brock and Roman were laid out when Seth did it too. By the way, because Seth
they were both to be like they were on the mats.
Yeah,
but and it's like I was like, is she gonna win? And then not only did she not win, she ate the fucking pin.
I know.
And I was like, wow. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, she wins this fucking breakout tournament. She looks like she's gonna be a future star.
Yeah.
And then she cashes in to make it a fucking triple threat. And on top of that too, she eats the fucking pin. I was like, you can't. I was like, that was so stupid. I was like, why did they do that? They just completely wasted her fucking opportunity on a pointless match on a pointless pay-per-view. It wasn't like she was going to cash it in at fucking Stand and Deliver, which would have made sense. She cashed it in at fucking Vengeance Day. Like, what the fuck?
Especially, too, like, she just broke up with a tag team partner. Because she would have been better off to chasing it in on the tag title. She would have stood more of a chance of winning those belts. Like, I don't understand.
It's just like, it's just stupidity.
Yeah. At
its finest. And I was like, wow, the Shawn Michaels is Shawn Michaels like himself again.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking stupid.
And you can tell Shawn Michaels did this breakout tournament. He was in no freaking rush to get rid of these freaking contracts. His Oba family cashed his in right away for no reason. Granted, it worked out good for him, but still, like, he was in no rush to get rid of his, and then he was in no rush to get rid of, like, Lola Vice's. Like, it's like he didn't really know how to get rid of these contracts. It's like, oh, we're gonna get rid of these. Okay, let's just have him cash it in right away. Like, no, like, they won the tournament and they just got rid of their contracts, like, right away. No anticipation, no nothing. Just, like...
None.
Yeah.
Just done.
See you later. Like,
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why is she cashing in? I was like, do they know this makes it a triple threat? Where her chances of winning go down?
And I get it. It would have been one thing if they did like, a double down spot. But Roxanne Perez was still like on her feet, like, and Roxanne Perez looked stupid.
They both were.
Well, no, because Lyra Valkyria Lyra took the pop rocks. Roxanne Perez looked stupid. She looked at Lola Vice for a good 2 minutes when she could have been winning the championship. It was like, that would have been funny though if she tried to cash in though, and like Roxanne Perez had already won. That would have been awesome. Like,
that'd have been funny as hell.
But no, this was stupid. This was the worst thing in the whole show. And then it gets even worse. We had another Chase U calendar signing segment where Riley Osborne wants to be Thea Hale's Valentine, or wants Thea Hale to be his Valentine. I'm not really sure how that works. And then she's like, of course, and this was just cringe. This was not. And also, the segment ended really abruptly too. I feel like there was you could definitely tell this segment and then the segment that happens later with Lexus Kim were like recorded back to back, but they wanted to spread them out because you could tell there was a bad edit here. This is terrible. What do you think of this?
It wasn't good.
Then we had a mystery vignette this was good. I'm looking forward to see who this is. Yeah, liked this. What'd you think of this? It was good.
I like the vignette. It's interesting because I don't know who it is.
Maybe she.
Like I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Then we had the NXT North American Championship match. We had Oba Femi defending against Dragon Lee. This match ended up being the sleeper match on the show. It ended up being a lot better than I thought it'd be. It was pretty good stuff. Oba Femi dominated early. He really manhandled Dragon Lee. At one point, Wade Barrett was just like, okay, this is just getting ridiculous now. Like, he's just laughing at Dragon Lee, which is kind of mean, but it's just like, okay. Dragon Lee got like some hope.
Not very nice.
Yeah, Dragon Lee got some hope outs in. He did like a really good tilt-a-whirl DDT on like the head of the announcer's table. At one point, Oba Femi hits like a one-handed spine buster and just tosses Dragon Lee into Wade Barrett's announcer's chair. And then eventually he just obliterates Dragon Lee from that point. He hits the pop-up powerbomb for the win. This is pretty good, though. I thought this was 3.25 stars. I thought Dragon Lee made Oba Femi look really good, and I thought their styles really messed with each other. GM Mode would love this match, by the way, in 2K23, because the classes go really well with each other. A cruiser and a giant.
Oh, yeah, the fucking classic styles.
Yeah. But, I thought Oba Femi looked like a star here. Kind of a shame for Dragon Lee. It sucks that he's basically out of the North American title picture. But he's probably going back to main roster after this. But overall, this was pretty good. This was the sleeper match of the night. I gave it like 3.25 stars. It's pretty good stuff.
I give it 3.25 too. It was a really, really good match. Oba Femi just keeps it impressing, and Dragon Lee's amazing. But yeah, like it was good. It's time for Dragon to go back to the main roster now. I kind of figured originally when that happened, I was like, man, Shawn Michaels is really allergic to main event, main roster star power being on the show. Because it was Dragon Lee can have the title visible on SmackDown with him when he's on SmackDown. And then when he lost it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
But I was like, the more like I've watched NXT, I'm like, Oba Femi is like really fucking good.
Yeah, he is.
He's just not good enough for the NXT title yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's too soon to tell like how much like Oba Femi's probably really good, but a lot of this was probably Dragon Lee helping him out too. Like the bump, like Dragon Lee bumping around for him really helped him out too, and everything like that too. So
it does again. It's like those Clash of Styles; they work perfectly. The big man, the high flyer. Those are always really good stylistic.
GMO, this
matches.
match would have gotten like 5 stars in GMO. They would have been like that's how good it was.
100%.
Yeah, then we have some more segments because apparently that needs to happen. Lexus Kim was at the autograph signing, just being a jerk, and he gets into a brawl with Riley Osborne. That's probably setting up a match for them this week. I would have preferred this match be on the show because Lexus King gets on the freaking PLE, but that I guess Shawn Michaels is allergic to Lexus King being on the PSEs, so
the PSE.
Yeah, the PSE. This wasn't good. What do you think of this? Like, this was fine actually. It just didn't need to be on the show. What do you think?
If that's their best utilization for right now for Brian Pillman, it needs to be better because he needs to be on the fucking show.
Yeah, they've kind of like taken a few missteps with him. Deadline was all right, but he should have won. He should have won the breakout tournament. That's like the biggest misstep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they wanted to have a heel win it, why not have the guy that fucking snuck his way into it?
Yeah. So
that would have made way too much sense.
Yeah. Then we had Ava get interviewed where she's just talking about the pay-per-view. I thought this was going to set something up where like someone was going to come in and it was going to turn into a match, but they was just talking and it went on a long time. Like it was just, this felt like that Tony Khan segment where he announced All In. That's what this felt like. And this was worse because we were paying for this segment. Well, I wasn't, but your dad was. And, this is just not fair to your dad. This is not good. What do you think of this?
Useless.
That was the point of this. It was just talk. We don't want to see that on a PLE. We want to see like good segments that build to stuff. This doesn't build to anything.
It builds to nothing.
Then we had a brawl, and this also makes The Rock look even worse because everyone's mad at him right now. Great job, Sean. You're making people more mad at The Rock than they have any business being. Good job, you know. And then maybe that was his MO. It's like, you know, people are mad at The Rock right now. I'm gonna make people more mad at The Rock and just do this. Good job, Sean.
Might as well.
Then we had a brawl.
Just get pissed.
Yeah. Then we had a brawl backstage between Lola Vice and Roxanne Perez. Okay, that happened. I didn't care about it. I didn't even know it was Roxanne Perez until like a couple minutes. I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was like Tatum Paxley, but it wasn't. So yeah, it's gonna build to a match, and I don't care. Lola Vice is ruined. So what do you think of this?
I just didn't care enough.
Did you know what that was Roxanne?
Like you said, I didn't even know it was Roxanne Perez either. I could say for like it's just so she stupidly cashed in her fucking title opportunity for a fucking triple threat.
By the way, Roxanne Perez better be worried. Roxanne Perez better be worried. She got the best reaction of the whole night. I'm gonna say that's a good thing, right? That worked out real well for Chase U last year. You know what that means? Shawn Michaels going to turn Roxanne Perez heel now because of how over she was. That's what he's going to do. You know that's going to happen.
He can't help himself.
I mean, Chase U really over last year in Vengeance. At this very same event, not even the original members of Chase U weren't even there. Like, actually, if you think about it, Chase U really wasn't even there. Like Thea held it because they were backstage in a segment that sucked. Like, what a great utilization of an over tag team that. So over last year, not even on the show. It's awesome. You know, it's how you do it.
Not even allowed to be on the show.
Then we had the main event. This was awesome. So we had Ilya Dragunov defending his belt, his NXT championship against Trick Williams with Carmelo Hayes ringside. This was great. Very back and forth. You know, Trick Williams starts off very aggressive. He really takes it to Dragunov, and then eventually eventually Dragunov gets a clothesline in, and somehow this busts open Dragunov. I don't know how that happened, but it did. At first I thought it was Trick Williams' blood because he had a cut on his lip, but it was clearly Dragunov, so I'm not really sure that happened. Maybe he's taking lessons from Jon Moxley right there. And then he just annihilates Trick Williams throughout the opening bits of the match. He hits a really good Death Valley driver onto the apron. And then, he annihilates him. At one point, he's just talking crap to Williams. And he slaps him in the face, and Williams hits a really stiff slap right to Dragunov's face. He mounts a huge comeback that everybody really got into. And then, eventually, they fight to the outside. Williams hits a DDT onto the apron. And then, Dragunov is getting to his feet. And Carmelo Hayes starts mouthing off to him. And, Dragunov pushes Hayes, and he instantly goes into Williams, and he ends up hitting a chop block to the back of his knee. And Carmelo Hayes realizes he screwed up, because obviously this could have cost Williams the match. It kind of does actually ultimately cost Williams the match, because he sells it the rest of the match. And Dragunov hits the ace ball, but Williams kicks out. Williams recovers. He hits an ace ball himself on Dragunov, but Dragunov kicks out. And then Dragunov hits an enziguri followed by an ace ball from the second turnbuckle. But Williams just manages to kick out. It was a really good near fall because I actually thought that, because that's how Carmelo Hayes lost the belt. So, I kind of thought that was going to be it. Then Williams hits a really good high running knee. But the ref takes a bump from this, and he has, Dragunov beaten for, a 10 count. But the ref gets in there, and he's able to kick out. And during this, Carmelo Hayes went down, and Trick Williams is checking on Hayes. And, Dragunov tries to win with a roll-up, but it doesn't work. And then they get to this moment where they're both in the corner, and they both go to charge at each other. Trick Williams goes for the knee, and Dragunov, hits what's it called? His finisher.
Torpedo
Moscow. And I think Dragunov is the one that ends up getting the Moscow in. Williams does not get the knee, and I think he misses the knee. and Dragunov wins, but he just like barely won. And Ilya Dragunov retains the NXT championship. That's the match. I'll give the match like 4.5 stars. It was great stuff. Told a great story. Carmelo Hayes' facial expressions really made this match also. And, I'm happy that, like, Dragunov won clean, too. They didn't have... Because obviously it does happen on the show, but they didn't have Hayes turn on him during the match. I'm glad that Dragunov got to get, like, a clean win. Even though there was kind of some shadiness to it, but, it was clean enough where, like, Dragunov still looked like a strong champion and everything like that. So I was happy about that. Which, overall, how did you feel about the match before we talk about what happens at the end of the show?
I thought it was a really, really good match. That just had a really, really good finish. I loved it. It was a really good match. I give it like a, let's see, 4.5.
It's great stuff. Also, too, Wade Barrett was awesome on commentary when Trick Williams made his entrance in the Dusty tag. He was obviously playing Booker T and just singing his theme song. And I liked it, too, because he had to change it up from what Booker T does, because he didn't want to get another cease and desist from Booker T, because he got that before. He didn't want to get that again. So I love that. And then he tries to do it during the Trick Williams entrance here, but Vic Joseph wouldn't shut up. And I like it too because Vic Joseph was like plugging stuff and everything like that. And Wade Barrett was just like, "You're keeping me from sitting his themes on." He was like mad about it. What'd you think of that? That was awesome.
He did that during the Dusty too, at the beginning. In Carmelo and Trick's entrance at the beginning of the show in the Dusty. I was like, yes, he's fucking doing it. I loved it.
And then afterwards, we have the end of the show. They put the logo up, and we're thinking, okay, this is going to be the end of the show right here. But, it's not.
Knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I absolutely knew this was coming. It was so obvious.
Afterwards, Carmelo Hayes is giving a pep talk to Trick Williams, trying to motivate him, say, hey, it's still a Trick and Mello game. And then, when Trick Williams walks away, Carmelo Hayes gets this looks on his face. He hits a chop block onto Trick Williams. He destroys him. He grabs a chair, and he just destroys his leg with the chair. And everybody hated this. It finally happened. Carmelo Hayes officially is a heel now. He's finally turned on Trick Williams. I thought this was a really good angle. It was finally time to pull the trigger on this. And I think, the PLE probably makes the most sense to do it. It's where the most people are going to be watching NXT. It's in a big arena. And I'm glad that this is happening, not for the belt. Because I don't think it needs the title. I think the feud's personal enough where they don't need the championship. And yeah, Carmelo Hayes is officially a heel now. And Trick Williams is officially a babyface. And I thought this was a really good ending to the show. What'd you think of this?
I thought it was I mean, it needed to happen. But yeah, it was so obvious. It was very predictable. It was going to happen. I even said it was going to happen. He was going to turn on him, and he did. Yeah. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I'm like, it was so obvious that it was going to happen. And then as soon as he started walking forward, Trick, I was like, up, here comes the turn. I was like, he's going to turn on him. And then Mello turned around and then just destroy. I was like, I fucking knew this was coming. But yeah, like this again, this is probably a show stealer at Stand and Deliver. Because they're definitely not going to blow it off at a Roadblock.
Yeah.
This is a Stand and Deliver quality match. It needs to be done at Stand and Deliver, not at Roadblock.
I imagine what would happen.
First time they ever faced it.
Yeah, I imagine what would happen is like Trick Williams will be off until Roadblock. That's when he'll be back. Like I think he's gonna come back after Hayes will probably have a match with somebody. Maybe Dragunov, or maybe he'll have a match with. I'm trying to think of who he could have a match with. Like some top babyface he'll have a match with, and he'll obviously win that match. And that's when Trick Williams will come back. Probably, I think that's probably what's gonna happen. Do you think that's what's
cost in the match?
Not even cost them. Yeah, they could do that. But yeah, this is awesome. This is very obviously DIY Undisputed Era breakup. It's like kind of it's the same thing pretty much. I don't think Hayes is gonna get as much heat as Ciampa did, obviously, when he turned on Gargano. I really can't say the same thing for Cole because I think when Cole turned was like pandemic, so like I don't. It's tough to tell like how much hated Cole would have gotten, but I imagine Hayes will probably get like a little bit more than Cole because he's not in the pandemic right now. But yeah, this will be interesting. I honestly think too this feud's gonna go on for a little while too. Like, I think they'll have a match at Stand and Deliver, and I don't think that's gonna be the end of Hayes. I think they're gonna continue this feud for a while. So, especially too because a lot of people go into main roster. I think Carmelo Hayes is gonna spend a few months in NXT. So we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, again, this like buys him a little bit more time until he's up on the main roster full time.
Yeah. Plus, it'll be weird too because I imagine he'll be a babyface when he goes to the main roster. It'll be weird if he does this heel turn, and then goes up to the roster as immediately a babyface. It'll just be really weird. So, I think he needs to stay in NXT for a little, unless he just stays heel. It's also kind of weird because he's been on the main roster recently, so it's really weird. I assume he won't.
He's been a face to it, right?
Yeah. So I imagine he's going to be just strictly NXT for a little while since that happened. But overall, yeah, that was the NXT Vengeance Day. Really tough to grade this show. I'm gonna give it like a B plus. I thought the two opening matches were good. I liked the No DQ match, and I liked the North American title match. The thing that really holds the show down from being like A quality is there was a lot of unnecessary shit that didn't need to be on the show, and the women's title match was just absolute shit. Oh, and that mixed tag team match was just a waste of time. So, I think too if you I would have preferred maybe like I'm pretty sure too something goes short in the show that like could have been. Oh, I thought the North American title match too like could have been longer if they just got rid of all the unnecessary shit on the show, like another 5 minutes or so. But Shawn had to have Shawn Michaels felt they needed to have a lot of unnecessary shit on the show. So I'm gonna go B plus though because the ending was really good too. So I'm gonna go B plus. What would you give NXT Vengeance Day as like a nice little letter grade?
I give it a B plus. I'm the same way that the women's title match was a clusterfuck. That like it was just not good.
Yeah. So
the opener was the opener finished great. I will say, still a good match overall. The Dijak Casey match was surprisingly really awesome. Very physical, very violent match. The main event again that match was outstanding. But yeah, like it's overall I thought the show was good. There was a lot of segments on here that made it feel like it wasn't a fucking pay-per-view. It was just like an extended NXT.
yeah.
Like I don't need to see segments that should be on television. That's what you do for television. You don't have these random segments pop up during the fucking show. It just doesn't make it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, they don't. This honestly felt like what Roblox probably gonna be when that happens. It felt like a Roblox, like one of those NXT special type of episodes. It didn't feel like a PLE type of NXT. The commentary team for main event was actually Blake Howard and Road Dogg. Road Dogg was on commentary. Now, do you want to take us through? Do you want to take us through SmackDown now?
Do I have to?
I mean, you said you wanted to do those SmackDown notes. You gotta do them. Your heart's about to be broken on that show, though.
We'll see if it's actually broken.
Since SmackDown was a big show too, we're doing star ratings.
Yes, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? Could happen. So SmackDown. This is the post Royal Rumble SmackDown on February 2nd, 2024, from the Level Porter Arena, and the show. Oh, this is okay. First week with new commentators.
Yep.
So Wade Barrett and Corey Graves are now your SmackDown commentary team, with Corey Graves being the Michael Cole, the lead guy on SmackDown now. And I will say, 10 out of 10. again, they picked the right fucking people for both brands, with Pat and Michael Cole doing Raw, and then Corey Graves and Wade Barrett doing SmackDown. It couldn't have been picked any more perfectly.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Outstanding choices.
Yeah, I think they were good choices. It's obviously going to take some getting used to hearing Graves just strictly be play-by-play, because it was a little weird. You know, it was weird on this show. But I thought he transitioned into the role fairly well. And they actually kind of did this unique, because Graves is strictly play-by-play, but he hasn't transitioned out of the role yet, where he's neutral. He still supported some heroes on this show. Wade Barrett's definitely going to be the one that is going to be the one that supports the heels and everything like that. But yeah, I thought they had really good chemistry with each other, and you know, I think they're going to do really well together on commentary. I think this was great choices, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on the pay-per-views, just because you know, I feel like that they should go. I think probably not Australia, but I think Australia is going to be calling Graves probably. I don't think Pat's probably going to be in Australia. But I think WrestleMania, we're going to get a 3-man booth. It's going to be Pat, Cole, and Graves probably. And then we'll see what happens after that.
We could.
But yeah, for
we could. They could, or they could just do the regular pay-per-view commentary team with Cole and Graves.
I definitely think Pat's doing Mania, though, just because I think they're going to want to have him on Mania.
Oh, yeah. If he's not having a match at Mania, then yeah, I think he's going to be commentating.
Yeah, but overall, though, I think they picked the right commentary team. They did really well together. The only thing that sucked is the first match they commentated. They had to have Logan Paul on for, so I feel like for the first match they had to commentate, they should have had a guest commentator, because I think that kind of threw them off a little bit. But other than that, they did really well throughout the night.
So now we get to the beginning of the show, and Logan Paul is out to do a promo segment and talking about his match with Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens comes out and he says that that he outsmarted Kevin Owens, because at the Royal Rumble, Kevin tried to cheat and tried to use the brass knuckles to beat Logan Paul, and he almost did, but he was caught red-handed with the knuckles on his hand. He did admit, KO admitted that he was outsmarted, but he beat the crap out of Logan Paul in the end. He tells him that he's going to go get a real challenger, and that he should focus on his match that's coming up. And it's Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens, with Grayson Waller at ringside, and Logan Paul, like you said, was on commentary. Overall, I thought the first it was a fairly good segment. Again, it's not Dom level of heat, but Logan gets really, really good heat.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, good segment. This was, I feel like sometimes Logan Paul is very hit or miss on the mic. This was he was good here, but you could definitely tell there was some bits. He's not, I don't think he's good. Sometimes he's not as great on the mic as his star power, I think, should be. But, he was still good here. But he gets great heat. And I'm glad they're continuing the Logan Paul, Kevin Owens feud and everything like that. I think it was a good idea to continue it post-Rumble, because I feel like they were just hitting their stride of what they could do together with their feud. I don't think it was time to end it at the Rumble, so I'm glad they're continuing it.
Yes, I am. I'm very happy that they did that. But so we get to that match now. It's Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory, with Grayson Waller ringside, and Logan Paul was on commentary, but he wasn't very. I mean, he was obviously supporting his guy, but yeah, he wasn't anything overly spectacular on commentary. But the match is very good, and they try to do a repeat of what happened at the Royal Rumble, and Logan tries to give Austin Theory the knucks, try to knock out KO for the win, and KO counters it and hits him with the brass knuckles for the victory. I thought this match was really good. It's a really solid. It was really good. It was a good opener. I give it 2.5 stars.
I give it 3 stars. I thought it was good stuff. I like that this time though. After KO used the Nux, he hit him quickly this time. Like he didn't keep him on his hand this time. He like hit him.
He went right into the trunks with him.
Yeah.
Instead of leaving him on his fucking hand.
So that was good. And yeah, I think I need to change it up though. I'm kind of sick of KO facing these two because he wins every time. So there's really no reason. They clearly just want to have KO get some heat. But yeah, I feel like KO needs to start facing new people on SmackDown. I'm kind of sick of seeing like the Grayson Waller and like Theories of the world facing him because like he beats them every time. There's no real reason to keep going there. So I kind of like to see him mix it up a little bit.
It is tough though because he is a babyface right now, and it's like there's not that many like mid-card level heels that he can face at the moment. Yeah. I can't even. I mean, and if he did go heel, I think like it would be the heel side is just insane at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
So it wouldn't really make any sense. But like, if you, I don't know, it's tough to see who he could face. Yeah. Besides these three, like at the moment,
because all the other heels too are in feuds right now too. Like Santos is in a feud.
The Bloodline feud again. Would you really want to see the fucking Bloodline against Kevin Owens again for the 17th time?
Yeah, there's no, So he'll just have to find somebody.
I'm just happy he's like in a championship
Yeah, it's good.
Feud though.
And the jabs
so he's doing something.
And the jabs too that Paul and KO took were great. Like the KO took like a shot at his drink, mentioned that because Logan Paul made fun of KO's hygiene. He's like, "Oh, I just washed myself into your prime drink." Like KO had a really good clap back and everything like that. It was really good.
Yeah, it was good overall. But now they go backstage and it's Naomi's there and she's officially signed to the Smackdown brand, which makes sense because Jimmy's on SmackDown, so it makes sense for them to be together. But Tiffany Stratton is officially on SmackDown as she has signed also to SmackDown. So she has been elevated from NXT to the main roster because that was the big rumored thing, is that she really impressed over the Royal Rumble in the past 2 weeks. She's been really impressive. And the fact that there was nothing for her to do in NXT anymore, it kind of makes sense for her to bump up. Now she's main roster full-time now. But she says that she wants to know where his celebration is because everyone was celebrating Naomi coming back and her coming back to the Rumble, and then it's like a bunch of like talent like Bianca and everyone backstage at Mia Yim, and she's like really upset that they're not throwing her like a celebration. And she goes, "I'm going to step up to the baddest." And she slaps Mia Yim right in the face.
Yep.
And Mia's pissed. And that sets up their eventual, and she says, "Nick, all this, I want her in a match tonight." And she's pissed. So that is a match that they set up for later on the night. And I thought it was a good way to get Tiffany introduced on the main roster, and it was really cool to see Naomi again.
Yeah, this was good stuff. I like this. I was surprised Tiffany Stratton went to SmackDown since, her boyfriend Marcel Bartel's on Raw, but maybe they're doing a draft and Imperium will go back to SmackDown. I think it kind of makes more sense anyways for Tiffany Stratton to be on SmackDown just because Raw has a lot of women at the moment, and I think we'll see that later on the show, but I think Jade Cargill is going to Raw, so I like, they kind of needed a heel on SmackDown. Especially for Bianca to feud with, because I think Bianca's feud with Damage Control so often now that I think
it's every other week.
Yeah,
almost.
So I'm happy,
like every week or every month, it was getting redundant.
Yeah, so I'm happy, I was just shocked Tiffany went to SmackDown, because Marcel Bartel's on Raw. They usually like to keep couples together, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's not really a known relationship. I mean, if you follow on social media and stuff or TikTok, she puts it on there, but not nearly as much.
Yeah.
so people don't really know that they're a couple. So kind of like, for the moment, SmackDown's kind of the bigger brand, so I guess putting her on there just made sense.
Especially too because they needed a top heel on SmackDown because the top heel is gonna turns babyface on this show, so they needed to get a top heel back on SmackDown. So kind of works out.
Yeah, baby.
But again too, I'm happy they made the change to put her on SmackDown anyway, because like again, there was nothing really left for her to do on NXT. So, it was completely fine that she's on SmackDown now. I think she'll do really well on SmackDown. I guess I was surprised Raw, too, because there's already made feud with her and Becky on Raw, too, because, they kind of have some this business. But, for I'm okay with her on SmackDown. I'm just also kind of wondering, too, like, what's the women's picture going to look like going into Mania? Because we kind of know the 2 title matches that are going to happen. Like, there's so much talent now on the women's side that can't be left off of WrestleMania.
A lot.
So I don't know if they're gonna do like a big gauntlet match, because I feel like they're not gonna do the showcase matches again, because I feel like they are gonna move away from that. So I don't know if they're gonna do some type of
because that was like a Vince thing. Like, hey, we can't fit you all on the pay-per-view. Let's have you. Let's go on a WrestleMania showcase.
Yeah,
and you can be included in the card or whatever, but you're not actually going to be competing at WrestleMania.
So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with these people.
I think do a Battle Royal.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Bring back Battle Royal again. Like, you have all these women. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense. And you can, even if you, like, want to do, like, a Royal Rumble style match, like, you could.
You really could, yeah.
Because there's a lot of women there. I mean, they just filled out a fucking a 30 entry Royal Rumble match.
They actually did
with only one wrestler who was not in the company.
Which, if you think about it, that never happened before. Like, they always had to get a ton of surprises. I mean, I know there was a ton of surprises. Huh?
At least 5 to 6.
Yeah, I think they got like
maybe even more.
Yeah. I mean, I know we got a few, but for the most part, all of them at least joined the brand and stuff, or at least signed to the company somehow. They always had to be the legends for the Women's Royal Rumble. They actually had enough women to fill a Royal Rumble. They only had one surprise appearance outside a company, which was cool. That never happens for WWE.
It never happens. I remember the first year. I think they had like 10 surprise entrants.
Right.
It was crazy, but now it's like, now that they can fill out the whole field and only have like, I mean, of course, like, obviously, like, Jade's a surprise, but like, she's been signed since like October of last year.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to see, to know that they have talent, that they can do that now, as opposed to having to rely on legends, and of course, it's going to be surprised in a Rumble. So. But yeah, there was only one technical, like, real surprise that was outside the company.
Which is cool. I like that. I know we just said...
Like, everyone knew Naomi, and everyone knew that Jade was debuting, so...
Yeah. I mean, I know we just complained last time that there wasn't enough surprises in the men's Royal Rumble, but I think this year benefited the woman, because they always have to load that thing with surprises. I think it's... I mean, we would like the surprises, but I think it shows, that they have enough women in the company where they don't have to rely on surprises to fill a women's Royal Rumble. Like, that was kind of the issue with the Women's Royal Rumble every year, so...
Oh, yeah. But anyways, so... Bianca Belair is in Nick Aldis' office. She's having a conversation with Nick Aldis, and Logan Paul comes in, and this is the first time he said this on television, that he's sick and tired of being called a part-timer in one's competition, which I think that this is kind of him moving away from the part-time.
Yep.
Now, and moving more towards maybe not full-time, but semi-full-time. Like, kind of doing what, like, Cena does, and what Cena's been doing. Where it's like, hey, the strike's on, here's 3 months where I'm full-time, you have me. Or, like, when filming wraps up, like when he made a few years ago, and he came back for the summer. Like, I'm here for a couple months, you got me, let's do something cool. Like I feel like that's like kind of the schedule I like to see him have, like semi full time, where it's like he appears at months at a time because it can advance a fucking storyline faster that way, as opposed to like, oh, he's the U.S. champion, but we haven't seen him in a month.
Yeah, it's good. And it's good.
You can't. I mean,
And it's good too because the big complaint we've had is we have two part-time champions on SmackDown. It kind of makes it makes the roster not really be able to go for any singles belts because even though the tag belts can go to both brands, they're mainly on Raw every week. So it's good that one that there's at least a champion that's going to be there. That's why also too I was confused when Dragon Lee lost the belt because that took away a title that the SmackDown roster could have fought for. So it's good now that like he's gonna be more full time because now like it gives the SmackDown roster something to fight for. This makes me think too that he's got. I think originally he was gonna drop the title at Mania, but I think he's gonna keep the title post Mania now because there's more stuff he can do as U.S. champ now since his schedule's more full time and everything.
because I think that's the match too. I think it's Logan versus KO at Mania.
Yeah, I think originally they were gonna do LA Knight versus Logan, and LA Knight was gonna dethrone him, but if you think about it, they haven't done a lot. He hasn't been able to really do much with the U.S. title, so I think they should keep the title at least till SummerSlam. He should keep the U.S. title for.
Yeah, and again, if you want to do KO against Logan Paul at Mania and keep that, and then at SummerSlam do LA Knight versus Logan Paul and build that thing up.
Yeah,
that would be really good too. Also,
I mean, you could say what happens to LA Knight at WrestleMania. Oh, go ahead.
And since we're on the road to WrestleMania now, and that's kind of like an entrenched feud, like I don't think they're gonna deviate from it for the next few months.
Right. Like, do you remember, it was like years ago when like Daniel Bryan was in the middle of a feud with like the Big Show, and then all of a sudden they just got away from it because Sheamus won the one where you picked him. Like they never finished that Daniel Bryan like Sheamus feud. It's like, okay, you didn't finish this feud. You gotta finish this feud. Like they just completely went away from it after a while. It's like
they completely ignored it. Like it didn't ever happen.
So I'm kind of plus too, I think there's a bigger match. I know this kind of screws over LA Knight, but I think LA Knight has a big match he can do at Mania now. He can face AJ now, or he can face Randy Orton. So like, there's a big match that LA Knight can do at Mania that doesn't need to be for the.
You do a triple threat.
Yeah.
Singles match or triple threat at Mania. Like they've all lost now to the Tribal Chief, so it's like.
Yeah.
But again, like I could see probably maybe Randy going for the same, like with the in between, I guess, with The Rock at maybe. I don't know, but like we'll see.
Yeah.
Where that goes, but like I just don't know. Like at this point, like where those three. I mean, you could have a triple threat that probably make the most sense because they're already like feuding with each other as is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they did announce his next opponent. I imagine Nick Aldis, because we lost out on a chamber match for the men's. I think he's probably going to defend the belt in the chamber at Australia.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
I was either that or it'll be Grayson Waller. Because I think they want to give him a big match in Australia because he's from Australia. He's probably gonna be over as hell in Australia. So, but it'll be weird on TV to build that up. So I think they're gonna do an elimination chamber match. So that way Grayson Waller can get in there, can have a match too at the elimination chamber.
Yeah. But anyways, they say Bianca called him very rude for interrupting him, and he basically says he wants to be treated like a top star.
Yeah.
And he won't take his. And then he congratulates Bianca on their reality show, and he says that he's a big fan of Montez.
That was fun.
I thought that overall, I thought this, I guess like it needed to happen, but it was kind of, I feel like it was kind of thrown in there.
Yeah, it was.
It basically was just announcing that Logan wants to be more full time.
Yeah. They did do a callback to Bianca's reality show because it released like that day. At the end of episode 1, because Bianca thought Rhea last year was going to challenge her for the title, and then it didn't happen. Bianca obviously was thinking that Bayley was going to challenge Rhea, so she was asking like, "Hey, I want to get in there with Damage Control." But so it was kind of cool. They did like a little bit of a callback to that episode and everything like that. So that's cool.
Yeah, like it is. They do a Legado del Fantasma. They have their vignette, and I thought that was really cool. The fact that they're bringing back Legado, and it's going to be the heels from the LWO basically.
Yep, that's good.
But the next match, it's how good does this feel to say Pete
Yeah,
Dunne.
Finally.
Wait, Pete Dunne.
I should just do.
And Tyler Bate.
I should call him the other name now, just in spite you. Just now that he's Pete Dunne again, just call him the other name.
Hey, it's Butch and Tyler Bate. It's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, British Strong Style versus Pretty Deadly versus Legado, which was Humberto and Angel with Electra Lopez at ringside versus the LWO, which is basically now just since Ray's not there anymore, or Carlito's like never there. It's Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde with Selena Vega at ringside in a Fatal 4-Way match, Fatal 4-Way Championship qualifying match. This match was really, really good.
Yeah.
They did the spot again with Joaquin Wilde where they fucking launched him. Amazing. I love that fucking spot. I hope they do that all the fucking time. It's really it's a really good way to pop the fucking crowd huge, and it did. Once again. But yeah, this match overall, really fucking good. In British Strong Style, wins the fucking match.
That's awesome.
Go fit. I thought it was going to be Legado that would have won because they had their fucking vignette before this match, and it was like really a big thing, and British Strong Style won, and I was like, huh? I was like, I loved it, but I was like, wait a minute. They just spent like a couple minutes like building Legado back up, and then British Strong Style those wins. But I loved it. I thought this match was great. I give it like 3.5. I give it 3 stars.
I give it 3 3/4 stars. This was very good. I was surprised they kind of won too because they didn't get an entrance. They were already in the win too. Typically that means you're not winning if you don't get an entrance. But yeah, I was happy they won.
Well, we got a Legado entrance with the penis can.
Yeah.
That was really, really weird.
But I'm happy they won. We found out that this is a number 1 contendership, so there's going to be a team that's going to face the Judgment Day for the belts at Elimination Chamber. So on Raw, there's going to be a 4-way. Whoever wins that match will face Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne on SmackDown the next episode, and the winning team will face Judgment Day. So I'm liking this. I thought this was a great idea. And plus, too, even though Legado lost, they didn't take the pin. I think Pretty Deadly took the pin, but they can take a pin because it doesn't really make them look bad because they're so entertaining on the mic and stuff. They can just, save themselves by just cutting good promos and everything like that. But yeah, overall, very good stuff. And yeah, I'm just happy about this. It was very good. And, Tyler Bates starting to get more over with the main roster crowd. Like, his reactions are getting bigger now and everything like that, which is good. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I like that too, yeah. Because they're starting to get used to him. And the more you see someone and the fact that he's, like, entertaining and the fact that he can wrestle in the ring, the crowds notice that a lot of the times too.
Yeah.
And if you just go, oh, he's this great wrestler in NXT, it's like, well, the main roster crowd is not really going to care because it's kids. Like, it's mostly kids, young adults who don't watch NXT usually. Yeah. And it's like, and women who don't usually watch NXT. They'll watch fucking Raw and SmackDown, but not going to watch fucking NXT. And they're not really familiar with them. You can build them up with a vignette like they did, which was perfect because it allowed them to reintroduce themselves to the main roster crowd.
Right.
As Pete Dunne, as Tyler Bate, as British Strong Style, this dominant tag team.
Even though they won
and it shows too because they fucking won the match.
Yeah, it's good. I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna be the ones that face Judgment. Because they're in Australia. Even though that's not their home, they've done a lot of stuff in Australia and stuff because that's a big NXT UK based crowd and everything like that.
It is a big NXT UK base, and it's like a lot of the British wrestlers too wrestle in Australia.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna. Because I don't even
in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's sort of like, I know they not really, they fucking hate each other. Britain and Australia, but a lot of the times the talent or from New Zealand go to Australia and then go to the UK.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a pipeline there. And next we have probably one of the most impactful things on the show was Bayley's WrestleMania decision. And early on in the show, they showed Bayley. No, it was before this segment. Actually, not really on the show. They showed Bayley. Well, they showed Damage Control, kind of just like talking shit in Japanese.
Yep.
Which we found out later about Bayley. So, and they showed like Damage Control kind of walking off, and then Bayley's kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, really? Looking all like upset and everything. And then we get to that, and Damage Control comes out, and Bayley basically like says that she knows what they've been saying because she can kind of speak a little Japanese, and she knew that they were talking shit about her. And right then and there, you could hear the crowd just go, "Oh!" Like they kind of knew what was going to happen. Yep. And in that moment, you see fucking Asuka and Kairi are kind of moving away from Io. And at that moment, it was like, okay, so we're getting the turn like right now. Like they're not waiting. So they jump Bayley. And at first, Io was kind of like apprehensive at the beginning. Like, right when she got attacked, I felt like she was going to be the one trying to pull them off. Try to like, I guess like, keep it going a little bit longer. But she didn't. She was like encouraging them. She had kind of moved out of the way, and she was encouraging them as Kairi and Asuka were literally beating the shit out of Bayley. Those were some really stiff kicks.
Oh, yeah.
that Kairi Sane was throwing. Like, they kept going back over and like kicking her in the ribs, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, relax. Well, take a little bit off of those kicks. Like, it looks like you're really kicking her. And on commentary, they're like kind of basically like now Bayley has turned face. It's like they're really like sympathizing with Bayley, and Bayley's kind of like inching herself over to the corner, and she pulls a fucking pipe out, and they go, she's a smart veteran. She always has a backup plan. And they go to stomp her again. She gets up and she just starts waylaying him with the pipe. And as she goes to turn around and swing at Kairi, Io throws the belt up to try to block it. They kind of stop for a second, and like Io's just like really kind of surprised about like everything. She's shocked at what had happened, even though she played a role in it. But she was kind of like almost sympathetic in a way, in the way that she was like looking and everything. And they leave, and then Bayley basically decides she's going to meet her at WrestleMania. So there's your now official other women's championship match for WrestleMania. It's Bayley versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. And I've been saying this for so long now. Bayley's needed to turn face for so long. She needed to turn face like 4 years ago. Because right when they were coming back to touring again, right when she got hurt, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to bring her back as a babyface. And they didn't do it. And I'm like, okay, they're going to keep this heel thing going for a little bit longer. It went on for way too long. Way too long. Now that she's officially a babyface again, it's the right move. It made the most sense that she needed to. It absolutely needed to happen. And it wasn't like what usually happens in these type of situations, like in the Vince era, like they'll turn on someone and then they'll beat the shit out of them, and that's the end of the segment. Like, those work sometimes, but not all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the babyface needs to fight back, and it happened, and Bayley looks strong as fuck. And, of course, the crowd's going to love her. The crowd never stopped fucking cheering her. let's put it this way, when she turned the fucking heel in 2019, never stopped booing her once. No matter how hard she tried to be a heel and be a dastardly heel like she was for quite a while there, not one time did anyone, not one time did they boo her. And it's like, do we keep going on with this? Or is it time? Like, you need to fucking pull the trigger on this face turn that needed to happen years ago. Her heel run, although very good, I think it got hurt by the pandemic, too, also, in her injury coming back to touring. I think hurt her heel run. I just don't think it was all that good.
I personally liked her heel run. I mean, Bayley was like the main person before Roman Reigns came back and all that type of stuff that was like carrying the pandemic. I mean, she was on all 3 shows at one point, and everything like that. So like, you know, that's why it sucked for her that she had to miss out when they went to live tour just because of how much she had to carry the pandemic. Because she got hurt like right before they went back to touring again too, right? Like it was like
legitimately, like 2 weeks before they went back to touring.
Yeah.
I think she tore her ACL, I think.
So, you know, I think this was the perfect moment to turn her babyface. And yeah, the segment just ruled too. Like the emotion Bayley was cut in during the segment. What I enjoyed about the when someone goes from babyface, you know, after being a heel too in the Triple H era, it's not like the typical formula. Like when the Sami Zayn was in the Bloodline and stuff. They, you know, in the Vince era, he would have lost the War Games match, and then they would have turned on him. Instead, he won the War Games match, and it was cool because Sami Zayn, we've seen, like, Sami Zayn's the one that turned on Roman Reigns. In this case, it was Bayley being a smart babyface, showed that she, like, finally, you know, figured it out and everything like that. And I like, too, like, she said that she anticipated this, happening, too, because she had the pipe planted and everything like that. So, like, this was, like, this was a really good promo and everything like that. What made this really work, too, because obviously it's going to be a big part of the storyline. No Dakota Kai this week, which was awesome. I think, you know, it was good to kind of leave her home this week and everything like that. It will be interesting to see who she sides with. And, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Bayley. I really don't think it's going to be
Yeah,
Bayley.
they probably want to keep her, like, especially a speaking role for, like, the live crowd when Damage Control have to do promos and stuff like that, so...
yeah, because you have 3. I mean, all 3 of them could speak English, but, like, it's, like... to have someone out there who can be sort of like the English voice.
So I think that's awesome. And yeah, it'll be interesting, you know, it'd be even better if Sasha Banks would just sign over to be a part of this, because this would be the perfect opportunity for Sasha Banks to return and even out the odds, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
But she's not.
Big
difference anyways with the company that she goes to anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, but Bayley being this babyface is awesome. And this turn was absolutely executed perfectly. They obviously too had to do the turn now because, like, you know, they want to do the Raw Elimination Chamber match now. For the women's world title, like #1 contendership, and they kind of have to start that. Because obviously too, there's the thing like Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are basically talking about like what the plan is for the other championship, and you know, obviously that's going to be the case. Whatever belt Bayley didn't pick was going to be okay. We're going to do Elimination Chamber match. I feel like they're not going to just keep it exclusive to the Raw brand, just because there's so much. Like I imagine they're going to want Bianca in that match. They're going to probably want maybe Naomi in that match. So I think they're going to you know, make that like a double branded match where the winner faces Rhea for the belt. So that way, because too, there's not enough. I don't think there's enough like star power woman wise on Raw to carry a whole Elimination Chamber match.
No, definitely not. The women's side's pretty loaded on SmackDown.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna make that like double branded. Plus, it'll make it a little less unpredictable too, because Bianca's there. Bianca has a chance of winning it, and Naomi has a chance of winning it because she just came back and everything like that. So yeah, I think this is awesome. And this turn just absolutely ruled. Like Bayley promo was really awesome, and I'm kind of interested to see what version of face Bayley we're gonna get, because everyone wants her to go back to the Bayley from NXT and everything like that. I don't think that should happen because that devolves her character. I think we're gonna get like a mixed version of like that Bayley and the Bayley that we've been seeing lately. I think we're gonna get like, you know,
I think you can have her do like part of that gimmick too. I think you can sell like the headbands again, and maybe I am a hugger T-shirt, but other than that, like I wouldn't have her go full blown
Yeah.
like NXT Bailey.
I hope they can kind of keep the storyline going though till Mania. They still could, but they have a lot. They have a lot of stuff they have to do. Like, I imagine there's going to be a situation where they're going to do something to wipe Bailey off TV at least for like a few weeks because they need to kind of keep this like fresh because they have a lot of stuff they have to. They have a lot of stuff in between now and WrestleMania that they kind of have to get done and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Maybe they'll do a 6-woman tag at one point. Maybe at Chamber, Bailey will, team up with somebody. And they'll have to do the path, where Bailey started this group and no one's really going to want to team with her and everything like that. So they'll probably do that at some point. So they have a lot of options they can do and stuff like that. They just have to find stuff to keep this fresh and everything like that.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes. I agree with that too. But now we have the next match, which was Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. And before this match get going, it just fucking ends anyway in a no contest. But the most significant thing that happened was they finally found some usage for BFAB. Mm-hmm. She has been kind of lingering around with the Profits. I'm going to lump Bobby into that too instead of saying, but like into the Profits. She's been like kind of lingering around, like offering advice, like kind of being like a manager type for them, like a sounding board in a way to bounce ideas off of, like the past number of weeks really since they released AJ Francis and whatnot. But yeah, BFAB being in it makes a lot of sense because it kind of combats Scarlett. But yeah, I mean, this wasn't really a match. It's kind of a shame that there wasn't a fucking match considering that they had that brawl at the Royal Rumble and just have the Final Testament and the Profits just kind of like, we're just gonna have a no contest. But it got BFAB involved and she's officially like in with the Profits now. So I thought that was kind of like a cool way to kind of like get her involved again.
Yeah, I didn't mind this too much. I didn't mind that there wasn't a match because really none of the teams could lose right now because the Final Testament just debuted as a faction and Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are kind of too over to lose right now. So I thought this was kind of like the best.
Yeah, but if this was the Vince era, fucking the Final Testament would have been squashed.
Oh yeah, and then they would have attacked him and then they would have done the save. I think this has more effect and everything like that. So this is good. And I was okay with this. I imagine on the Go Home episode of Smackdown, because they usually like to load up the Go Home episodes with matches they can't fit on the PLEs. So I imagine on the Go Home episode, or even the post episode of Elimination Chamber, they're gonna run this back. I don't think BFAB and Scarlett will be in the match, but it will be no DQ, so that way they can do stuff and everything like that. And
yeah, mainly managers.
Yeah, so I imagine that's going to be what happens. It does make sense for BFAB to do this, but obviously it would have been cooler if it was Bianca. Because, I think a lot of people wanted Bianca to join up with them, but it didn't look likely because originally Lashley and the Street Profits were heels. It would have been better. It would have been good now if, they could have done that because now they're baby faces, so, they could have actually had Bianca join. But in hindsight, she has too much star power. I think she would overshadow, probably not Bobby Lashley, but she would overshadow the Street Profits. And I feel like they should they should keep Montez and Bianca separate from each other on TV. Just because I feel like she would overshadow Montez and everything like that.
They kind of did that whole Bianca Montez thing before, but I think this time would have been a little bit more impactful. But I get why they didn't do Bianca. Like you said, they keep them apart because Bianca would overshadow literally almost all of them. And by almost all of them, I mean the other side.
Yeah.
So, I think the Final Testament would lose star power instantly.
Plus, too, good for BFAB to get some experience, getting
exactly. Yeah. Have her come in and get some usage in here.
I want to watch Shanti the Adonis because it seems like because a few weeks ago, if you remember, I think it was New Year's Revolution, he had like a conversation with Nick Aldis where he mentioned Nick Aldis had plans for him, and then there's been nothing since then. Like maybe Nick Aldis lied to him. He's like, "Yeah, I got plans." And that sounds like a conversation him and Vince would have had. Like, "Oh yeah, I got plans for you, pal." Then nothing. He's probably just at home.
Oh, pal, I got plans.
He's probably just sitting at home right now, waiting for those plans by Aldis. Like, you said you had plans for me. What's going on? Like. Did Nick Aldis lie to him?
He did.
It's awesome. Well, that's not awesome for him, but it's awesome just that happened. Like, just like, yeah, that's legit how it went too. It was like, yeah, just be patient. I got plans for you. And then the shot to the Adonis has just not been on TV. He's like, yeah, I don't think Nick Aldis' plans.
It's been a fucking month.
I think I know what the plans were. Nick Aldis was just like, I'm just not gonna. My plans are not to have you on the shows. I think that's what his plans were for him. Like,
my plans are get the fuck out of my office.
That's awesome.
Those are my plans.
Like he hasn't. We haven't heard from him. Did he die? Like I don't know what happened to him. Like is he just?
He just needed to get the fuck out of his office.
Why didn't he just?
He was like, I don't even know who you are. I've been here for like a few months. I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you one time. What do you mean you have plans? Whatever. I have plans for you, right? Plans for you to get the fuck out of my office.
That's awesome.
So next they had a GM segment where they had Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis were in the office, and Braun was there. And they were Nick Aldis was basically trying to get him to sign his contract. But he said that he'll see Adam Pearce on Monday. And then he'll make his decision after that. And then Jade walks in and she asks Nick Aldis if it's a good time to talk. And he looks right at fucking Pearce with a death glare and goes, "You need to get out right now."
Basically he said what we were joking around. He said to Shanti, "Just get it out of my."
He basically was like, "You got to get out of my office, like right now." And it was very like tense and like I loved like the back and forth between like Pearce and Aldis because it's like it feels like legitimate, like they're actually like fighting for this talent that have become free agents. So it's not like, and they're on each other's brands too. So it's like when they show up like on SmackDown or Raw, and it's like it's always like a good segment that's like, oh shit, like these two could actually fight because they can actually still wrestle. So it's like. Right. It's I love it. It was a really good segment. He basically he basically scared Braun Breaker into not signing his contract.
Probably.
Pierce did.
What I like about what they do with these bidding wars too, it also like gets over that these talent at big signings, like you want, like these GMs are willing to fight each other just to sign these talent. And again, it kind of goes over like you say a lot of the fans don't watch, a lot of the casuals don't watch NXT. It makes them feel like bigger stars that the GMs are having this bidding war over these talents and everything like that. So that's kind of
like, oh, who are these people? Who's, they've seen Braun a few times on the main roster, but it's like, oh, who's this guy? Like, okay, like he seems like a big star or a big deal, like it makes them important.
Yeah. I feel like Jade's definitely going to Raw though, just because like SmackDown just got 2 women, and SmackDown's women's division is really loaded. I think Jade's gonna go to Raw, and I don't know. Braun could go either way. I think Braun's probably going to Raw because I know Brock was a free agent, but he was mainly on Raw anyways, so it fills the void of Brock not being on Raw. So I think they want to have like a replacement for Brock Lesnar. He could go either way though, but I think Raw, because I don't know what he'll be, if he'll be a face or a heel, because I know he's a heel in NXT, but like he could easily change to a babyface on the main roster because it's not that hard to change him and everything like that. So Jade's definitely I think going heel though. I think she's definitely gonna stay heel. I know stay heel, but like You know what I mean? Because she was a heel when she left AEW. I mean, like, so I'm kind of like caught down that, but she would start her WWE career. Was it because I'm getting the vibes that she's definitely gonna be more heelish when she joins WWE.
She could be, but again, like they could go the road of her just being a babyface.
Yeah, they
too.
could.
Because I know that's something that she kind of wanted to do also. In AEW that's the reason why she was gone for so long in AEW is because there were plans for her to come back as a face. But it obviously didn't pan out that way because her fucking contract expired and she signed with WWE. So obviously that didn't work out as they planned, obviously. But yeah, like either way that she's presented, I don't think it really would matter because she's just got star power written all over it regardless.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think that Braun and Jade are gonna end up brand wise?
I think it might be SmackDown.
But
just because, like he said, he's gonna talk about think about it, and like sign it on SmackDown. So I think it might be SmackDown, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's on Raw, like you said though. Like with Brock being like a free agent and being primarily like on Raw, it would make sense for him to be on Raw to fulfill that Brock role. And with Jade, I think it's Raw too because it needs it. It needs an influx of star power. It needs an influx of talent. I feel like in terms of like the two brands, the SmackDown Women's Division is very loaded. Now you add a Tiffany and you add a Naomi back to the picture with Naomi to SmackDown, and Tiffany to SmackDown, that ups it. Like ups the talent level on SmackDown. On top of having Bianca and Mia and you fucking name it. There's so many people on SmackDown that are really good. And with Raw, it's like, Becky.
Yeah, Becky, Rhea.
Rhea.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Maybe maybe Nia. Yeah. Like it's really like the top is like Rhea, and then like a smattering everyone else. Where on SmackDown, it's pretty like well tiered out between like top of the card, middle of the card, lower of the card. It's like Rhea, and then like maybe Nia because she's in that feud now for the Rhea's title, and then it's like Becky's like mid tier, and then it's like a fucking drop off. It's like and you add Jade in there, and it's like, okay, this is like legit star power. You saw the reaction at the Royal Rumble. She fucking man-hit him. That's why I think she's going to be a face. It's because, and on Raw, because, again, there's your Mania match, Nia versus Jade.
Yep.
She fucking slammed her in the ring, and then she fucking threw her over the top rope.
Yeah.
Like I was like, as soon as this happened, I was like, that's it. I was like, that's Jade's first big match right there at WrestleMania.
And honestly, too, that could be Nia's, because I feel like Triple H maybe he wants to keep Nia, but you could tell, like, he didn't want to really sign Nia. That was a Vince Force signing. If Triple H's looking to get rid of Nia, that's a perfect way to write Nia off without outright firing her. She's been unstoppable. She could be finally stopped by Jade Cargill and everything.
Yeah,
so.
I think so. But he's been praising Nia too, so it's like at the same time, I just don't see that happening either. But so now we have the final match on the show. The main event of matches. It's Tiffany Stratton in her SmackDown debut versus Mia Yim. In this, again, it's just a really good match. Like I've crapped on Tiffany a lot in the past, but ever since like that Becky feud, she went from being pretty fucking terrible in the ring to actually being pretty good. Like I've really been really impressed with her. Like she's been just very good. And it had a nice showing in the Rumble. Looked really good in this match too, along with Mia Yim. And then she wins with the prettiest moonsault ever, and I'll give it 3 stars. But they so next week, it's basically just a whole bunch of announcements for next week that they rattled off, where Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate will battle the winners of the Raw 4-way championship qualifying match. And as much as we've kind of been sticklers on the on the brand split, you more so than me. We both kind of agreed that this is going to be just like a one-off match, and it kind of makes sense because it's both matches. It's both tag teams from each brand kind of competing against each other. So and for the winner to face Judgment Day at the Elimination Chamber in Australia.
I mean, I didn't agree to anything. I still don't love the fact that they're getting rid of the brand split, but it'll still be a beta match and everything like that. Obviously, this week too, I was fine with them not sticking to the brand split because it was only the Royal Rumble winners that jumped. I think Rhea was on SmackDown, but that kind of made sense because she was affected by what Bayley's decision was going to be. I don't know why Seth was on SmackDown though. Maybe because he was also still dealing with an injury, so I kind of give that a pass that he wasn't he it's tough for him to probably travel and stuff. But yeah, I was fine with obviously because the Rumble winners can jump. I still don't love the fact that they're doing like a Raw team versus like a SmackDown team. It's just really weird. It's just strange. But it is what it is. And you're just gonna have to accept it. Sometimes it just isn't gonna work, and this is just gonna be one of those times.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have the most controversial part of the
That's
whole
why I
show.
saved it to the end.
It's the Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes segment. Cody was basically, this was supposed to be his big announcement. So Roman comes out and he basically talks crap about both Cody and Seth. Basically, he calls Seth his little brother, and he goes, "See, no pop." He's just wicked funny shit. And then he goes, "You can go for that title." And it's not, and he starts fucking just making fun of Seth some more, and he basically this is where he goes unhinged a little bit. He starts talking about oh, I work 10 times less, and I still make more than all of you. He's like, "Do you want Seth Rollins money, or do you want Tribal Chief money?" And he goes, I'm just not gonna beg you to face me. It's your choice." So Cody comes out, huge reaction as per usual. This dude doesn't get gets big reaction across the planet. Running shows that AEW did and getting fucking 50 times the reaction that he got in AEW. So weird. This is supposed to be over by now.
Yeah, I remember that.
Weird how that works. When you're presented like a fucking star. Weird. People actually care. That's
which is
strange.
weird because
didn't think that would ever happen.
It's why this segment's so controversial.
It really is. So he basically said the gist of it was he's going to face Roman Reigns for the WWE title, but it's not going to be at WrestleMania. And that kind of was oh, what the fuck? What's going on here? And he says that he was talking over with his counsel and whatnot, and he's like, it's someone that you know extremely well. And who is it? It's the fucking Rock.
Mm-hmm.
For the surprise appearance of surprise appearances. No one knew about this, so it got a huge reaction. They embrace Cody and Rock do. And then Cody leaves. And Rock kind of turns around and looks at Roman. They come face to face with each other. And it was just a stare off at each other. And it really was the tension was really palpable. As they put across the bottom that they were having a press conference in Las Vegas this Thursday for WrestleMania 40.
Yep.
So that is when we're taping it is Monday, so that would be it will be this Thursday upcoming for us. Don't know when you're gonna see it, but for us it's Monday we're recording this, and that's gonna be Thursday for us. Yeah, what a crazy ending to the show. No one kind of expected that to happen. A lot of people saying it's a power play by The Rock to get onto Mania. I don't necessarily agree with that. I know it's probably not like a very popular opinion, but if Cody wins the belt Elimination Chamber and they treat it like it's WrestleMania, then I don't have an issue with it. But I'm seeing a lot of things that saying maybe he's going after Seth now, and that it's going to be Rock and Roman obviously now at Mania. I don't think it's going to be for the WWE title. And then SummerSlam, I also heard too that they would unify the titles, which again doesn't make any sense. Between Cody would be the World Heavyweight Champion, and Roman would be the WWE Champion, and it just shrinks the field of amount of people that you can have with two major champions. It's just. I just like in the verbiage that he said too, like, has me thinking Elimination Chamber, because they've just lost Punk, you lost Brock, and you need that star power for that match. And the best thing to do is to have Roman drop the fucking title Elimination Chamber to Cody. Because at the end of the day, what's Cody's story? It's not main eventing WrestleMania. It was never main eventing WrestleMania. His story was always winning the WWE title. Now, if you go back and you watch the night after WrestleMania 2 years ago, where Cody had returned at WrestleMania and faced Seth Rollins, the next night on Raw, he comes out and cuts a promo. And he shows his dad with the WWE title in his hands, and it physically was taken away from him. So his goal, since he was a little fucking kid, was to win the WWE title to avenge a wrong that had happened to the Rhodes family. It was never main eventing WrestleMania. That was Punk's story.
He's already made event. He's also made event in WrestleMania already, actually, too. I think a lot of people.
Exactly. Punk's main thing was when he came back, his quote-unquote finishing the story was main eventing WrestleMania. That was Punk's story. That wasn't Cody's story. Now The Rock fits in this, and now you all of a sudden all hate him now. The Rock's story was not, he doesn't want the WWE title. He wants, again, last month when he made his surprise return to WWE and faced off with Jinder Mahal, he brought up the head of the table. He wants to be the head of the table. He doesn't want the WWE title. He wants to be the head of the table, which is not the WWE title. It's what Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns right now is the head of the table. So, recap. Cody Rhodes, WWE title. CM Punk, main eventing WrestleMania. The Rock, head of the table. There should be no confusion now.
I'll just giving my thoughts on all this stuff. The segment I still liked for the most part. I liked Cody's promo.
Oh, I love that. But I was like, holy shit! I'm like, I did not expect The Rock to come out.
Obviously, the only thing I don't like is Cody has the opportunity. He won the Royal Rumble. If he wants Roman Reigns, why not just call him out at WrestleMania? They're really gonna have to explain what The Rock said to him that made him not do that, because that is a big logical just for me personally. Because now it's it just looks really weird. I can kind of understand why the people say The Rock's doing a play because obviously the same week that he became the head of TKO, his daughter is now the GM of NXT. I think that was gonna happen regardless. It just happened to be the same week where The Rock became head of TKO, because if you remember on the shows following before that, they were building to that anyways. She's basically been the GM. It's just officially now so that she's the GM. So I think that's why a lot of people are thinking it's a power play, because what a coincidence, his daughter's now on screen a lot more. But then I look at it like this too. I know there's a lot of reports of this. This is what I think happened. I think the plan all along this year was night one WrestleMania main event was going to be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then night two was going to be Cody versus Roman for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. But obviously, with CM Punk injury, that fucked a lot of things up. And then they don't have Brock Lesnar now because of the Vince McMahon allegations. So they lost two big stars for WrestleMania this year. They kind of figured the World Heavyweight Championship match, they're kind of stuck on now too, because there's really no one that really Seth can face for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, because they lost Punk. Drew McIntyre's lost too many times. And like you said, he hasn't signed his contract yet. Are they really going to put someone in the main event of WrestleMania that isn't signed? Damian Priest isn't really credible enough right now to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. Plus, it doesn't make sense for him to cash in with his character right now and clean in a match or anything like that. If he was going babyface anytime soon, it would, but that's just not going to be the case. Plus, they've done Seth versus Priest a lot too. It's not really a WrestleMania main event type of match either. And then I think Seth too was promised a main event slot at WrestleMania. Because of all the work he's been putting on this year. I think too, if Seth wasn't main event at WrestleMania, he wouldn't be sticking through this injury that he has right now. He would just he would probably vacate the belt. I think Seth was promised the main event shot at WrestleMania. They can't really slip Walter in there right now because he's the IC champion. They have a big match I think they want to do for that at WrestleMania. I don't really think there's any real reasons to change plans there. They don't have a night one main event WrestleMania anymore right now. They could do Becky versus Rhea. I know a lot of people wanted to say that, but again, they don't have. It's not going to have the build really for night one of WrestleMania main event. Bailey versus Io does have that. And I know you could say from last year, the Sammy KO thing. If you tell good stories, you could put it in the main event slot at WrestleMania. The thing was though is it had the storytelling, but also it did have the star power, because Sami Zayn had been associated with the bloodline for so long. It upped his star power. I just don't think Bayley and Io Sky have the star power to main event WrestleMania this year. It has to be Cody versus Seth. They have the star power. And I think a lot of people are forgetting too, Raw's going to be low on baby faces. We were struggling to come up with baby faces post-Mania. They're going to be left on Raw. They're going to lose Punk. Well, they did lose Punk, and they're probably going to lose Seth. Seth's probably going to take some time off after WrestleMania. He needs to heal up from some injuries. Unless they do a draft, they don't have a top babyface for Raw. It has to be Cody. They're going to have to do that. And then, we talked about this. If the opportunity is there to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns, they have to take it, The Rock, this is the most available he's ever been to do a wrestling match. He has the ability now to do a wrestling match. He doesn't have all these people telling him that he can't. Do you really want to take the risk, and not do it this year and then have that match not, be left off the table? Because next year we don't know what the year could look like and all that type of stuff. So you kind of have to take the opportunity to do the match while you can. Obviously, I would love for Cody to finish his story this year, but it just isn't on the cards right now. And the thing that sucks about this more is I'm kind of ready for Roman Reigns' title reign to end. The reason I don't think Roman's wrestling an Elimination Chamber. I feel like if they were gonna do Cody versus Roman, he would have announced, "I'm gonna finish my story at WrestleMania." Like, I feel like if Cody was gonna face Roman at Chamber, they would have announced it on SmackDown. I just don't think Roman's wrestling at Chamber. This is where Roman's part-time schedule really annoys people too, because we wouldn't have these issues if Roman just had a full-time schedule and everything like that. I really think, though, we're going to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns. It's going to be for the belt, probably. Just because I don't really know what other WWE title match you could really do. Because I feel like the World Heavyweight title match needs to kind of needs a big main event. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot of negatives and a lot of positives to it. I'm kind of mixed on it. I kind of understand what WWE here just because CM Punk's injury, I think, just fucked a lot of shit up. And, also things got fucked up, too, because they didn't even think, even back, like, in October, they were even going to have Punk. So, they planned shit around so that Punk could get his main event slot, and then he got injured. So it's like, WWE's really in a bind here, but it sucks. The main reason I think it's more of a negative for me is just because, this means Roman Reigns' title reign is just going to continue, and I'm just ready for it to be over. I really hope they don't keep his title reign in, like, another year. Like, I'm so done with the Bloodline storyline. I think The Rock versus Roman Reigns will, like, elevate it a little bit more, because obviously it's a match we've wanted for a while, but I think it's just going to go back to what it was. Quite frankly, too, they fucked us up last year, too, because Jimmy turning on going back with the Bloodline, like, the whole thing about this was supposed to be Roman Reigns was supposed to be alone facing Cody, and they fucked that up last year, too, so it's like, yeah, I'm kind of mixed about how I feel about this. I really wanted Cody to finish his story this year, but obviously a lot of things affected that. Just the only thing I really didn't like about this is just like, Cody wins the Rumble. He has the opportunity now to go for the belt. I just hope they have a good explanation for that. It'd be better if they just didn't have Cody on SmackDown at all, and then The Rock just came out. But again, I really don't think there was really a way they could have done this segment with The Rock where people wouldn't have been pissed at Cody. A lot of people, are saying, because of the hug that Cody and The Rock had, like, it looked like Cody had, like, a facial expression like he was pissed. I personally don't think so. I personally think...
They're just making something out.
I personally think that Cody understands the situation that WWE found themselves in. And, they have to kind of do something with it. I would rather Cody finish the story this year, but it's just not in the cards right now. At least at WrestleMania, anyways. I hope they don't unify the belts, because the World Heavyweight Championship hasn't been around that long, and they've actually kind of made that into a pretty credible championship, especially with all the work that Seth Rollins has done. So a lot of people, I think, too, the confusion we have to end to. A lot of people think that Cody gave his Royal Rumble spot to The Rock. I just don't really... He never even said that. I don't know where people are just getting this type of stuff, like, places and everything like that. Like, they forget that Cody can challenge... There's 2 world titles now. Like, it's like... I don't understand that at all. Like, and then, yeah, just, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And again, too, they also forget that Damian Priest has the briefcase, so if Cody wins, he can win the belt at Mania, and Priest can cash in on him, either the night after WrestleMania or before then, And I'm honestly okay with waiting until SummerSlam if I have to, because the Bloodline storyline started back at SummerSlam 2020, so it would be a good culmination to that. The thing that sucks about this is it'd be better if Cody's first world title reign had been beating Roman Reigns, like, at all, but, I mean, I know he won the NWA world title and the ROH world title, but, that's, like, the title that would mean the most to him. But, again, I have a mixed feelings about how I feel about this. I still kind of don't really know how I feel about this. It's just a lot of things that I'm just thinking of. But, WWE is trying to make the best out of, like, a bad situation with CM Punk and getting injured is kind of how I feel about this. I think if Punk was able to go at Mania this year, I think it would be Roman versus Cody, at Mania Night 2 and Punk versus Seth. It's just Punk's injury just really fucked everything up, I think. At least that's what I think, anyways. I mean, that's just what I think. But anything else you want to say about this?
No, I mean, we pretty much covered it all.
And then as for what would you give SmackDown as like a letter grade with everything, how it went down and everything like that?
I give it a B+.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give it the same. I'll admit the ended segment makes it really controversial and everything like that. Apparently now it's WWE's most disliked video ever on YouTube, which is insane. I never thought that would happen, but it did.
Quite frankly, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to like the match. If you don't like it,
Yeah.
well.
So, yeah.
You can not like things.
Yeah, I personally am okay with them doing Rock versus Roman. It sucks it has to come at the expense of Cody Rhodes, I'll admit that. But, like, again, I personally think if Punk was able to go WrestleMania, WWE would have done Cody versus Rock too, and Punk versus Rollins. But, you know, a lot of shit got fucked up. And WWE... Also, I think WWE wanted to get some good... What they were thinking was going to be good press with all the Vince allegations that came out. They were trying to get some good press back, and... unfortunately for them, it didn't go the way they thought it would. But you can't... How could WWE have predicted that everybody was going to, like, not like the fact that The Rock was going to come back? Like, you really can't, you know, predict that and type of thing and everything like that. Like, this isn't the same situation with Batista winning the Royal Rumble over Daniel Bryan, right? Like, I don't think it's, like, necessarily like that or anything like that. You know, I feel like people should just kind of be happy. At least Cody isn't being completely shafted. Because obviously, at least he's gonna get. This is what's good about the 2-night Mania thing. He's gonna get a main event of WrestleMania and everything like that. I would like him to finish the story at Mania, but that's just not in the cards right now. So we've ended all that. Before we end it off, we didn't get to talk about this last week. Well, do you want to mention any more news on the Vince allegations? Because we should probably mention. Or do you want to just not talk about that this week?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it all, but it's pretty much good. It's pretty much better to move on.
Well, I'll talk about the game because we get to talk about that because we had so much to talk about last week. WWE has announced WWE 2K24 is coming out. I don't have a lot of time to talk about it because I have to click off pretty soon. But you know, we know the covers. We know that Cody's the cover of the original game. We know that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are going to be the covers of, like, the next tier up if you buy that cover. And then there's going to be, like, the Legends of, like, WrestleMania and everything like that, which is pretty cool. That's, like, the most expensive one. That's cool. We know that there's going to be some match stipulations returning, like the casket match. The ambulance match, if you played the PSP version of one of the SmackDown versus Raw games. And then we're going to have the return of WrestleMania, like the showcase mode they did 10 years ago when they did WWE 2K14, which is really cool. And then we're going to have, the return of, like, the Here Comes the Pain camera set. You could change that setting now, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited for this game so far. I think it's going to be a good game. We don't know. We kind of know the rosters a little bit, but we don't fully know the rosters. They haven't announced it fully yet, but, I'm pretty excited about it. It's pretty cool that Bianca and Rhea get the shot at the cover, and I like the fact that Cody's on the cover. So overall, just kind of keep it brief. What do you think of overall the video game and everything like that being announced?
Overall, I'm pretty pumped. I love that Cody, Bianca, and Rhea get that honor. It's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, this game's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, can't wait. Let's hope you can get further. Let's hope you can actually finish to the showcase mode, because I remember your system glitch and you can't even finish this. You can never finish the Cena one, which sucks for you. So let's hope you can actually finish the showcase mode this time. Also, there's been some new add-ons I'm hearing about with GM mode. Like, it's going to be kind of like back to the SmackDown versus Raw 07, 08 era, where, like, you don't have to sign them all to, like, full-time contracts and stuff. Like, you could sign them on for, like, 5 weeks if you want, like, kind of how that was. And you could do trades this time. You remember you could do trades in the SmackDown versus Raw ones? You could do trades in this one.
Yeah, they took that away the last when they brought it back.
Yeah, so that would be kind of cool. It'd be funny, though, like, I think if you set a, because you could set the modes, it'd be funny if you set it on easy mode, and you trade someone, like, you ask them for, like, you give them, like, the worst, like, people on your roster, and you ask for, like, Brock Lesnar. Well, you can't do that this year, but, you ask for, like, the Undertaker, and they fucking say yes. That's probably how easy we could, like, break that system, like, so bad and everything like that. Just the red flame for the Undertaker for a trade. Like, they were told.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Except for it's too much.
Huh?
Because the red flame is a million times better than the
Which
Undertaker.
version of the Undertaker is he better than? Oh my god.
All of them.
But yeah, also too, the thing they're keeping is, like, if you create your superstar for the My Rise mode, like, you'll get to use that superstar, like, in the regular mode, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you could make the red flame and have him be in the game. You could play him in real time.
Oh yeah.
Remember you signed the red flame and you, like, pushed him as WWE champion, and then all of a sudden he was just, like, in GM mode. I'm done with this brand. I'm like, he just left your brand, even though you made a WWE champion and everything like that. Like,
he was. No,
did he leave or did you fire him? I forget.
No, he left, and then I waited a few weeks and I just re-signed him again.
Anyhow, let's just end this show off. That's awesome. Anything you want to plug or promote and just talk about before we get off of here?
No. Not really. I don't have anything to plug.
Just check out this channel. Watch all the fun stuff that's going to be on it. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to you guys later.